you. Welcome to the August edition of our crash course. And I think it's safe if I tell you congratulations on surviving an entire session. Yeah, I know the last session was its own ups and downs, completing it and getting to an end. So, all this while, starting from January, we've been having this crash course. We started last year, but it was not as grand as this, right? So just help this crash course in this capacity. Actually, vacation period for many teachers, that it will be safe for us to have a reflection session where you now audit your session, yeah, how the session went, audit it and know what is missing, what you overlooked, and what you really need to work on. So that is the essence of this session. So, like on my screen now, like we all know, this session is it has a very funny caption, and it was intentional. It was intentional because I needed it to be a sentence. Yeah, pass my message.
It's on now.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes,
All
ma.
right.
Yes, ma.
Yeah,
Very clearly.
great. So I said that we decided to make this session a reflection session, and the title of this I intentionally made it a very long sentence because I need to pass the information. Now, the title, like we all know from the flyer, is "You Are on Holiday, so why is your mind still in the classroom?" So this is a teacher well-being session for the end of an academic session, basically. So the most rebellious thing that you can do as a teacher right now is to rest. Yeah, I know there is this temptation of not resting or not wanting to rest, but the most rebellious thing you can do now for yourself, for your students, and for everybody around you is to actually rest. So why is this session important? Why did I decide to hold this session and not hold any other session? Now, we all know that the term is over. The markings are done, results are in, you've already completed everything, the register is closed. By every official measure, you are on holiday. Yeah, you should be resting. But yet, you are mentally marking papers that have already been submitted. You're still marking papers, you're still planning, you're still replaying that lesson that did not go well. You're making a list of everything you want to catch up on because you didn't have time to. You have opened 17 browser tabs about the next term's scheme of work. Very funny. You told yourself you would start the holiday lessons next week. Your body is on holiday, but your mind never left the classroom. Now, I'm here to tell you that it is not dedication. Rather, it's depletion wearing a costume of commitment. You're not dedicated. Yes, I said it. You're not dedicated. Rather, you are depleted. Now, that depletion now is now wearing that costume of commitment, that costume of being busy. Yeah, teaching is one of the most emotionally, mentally, even financially and physically demanding professions in the world. So teachers are tempted to, try to catch up. And it's unfortunate that the culture around teaching now has convinced teachers that rest is a reward to be earned and not a requirement to function. Rest is not a reward to be earned. Rather, it's a requirement for you, the teacher, to function. So that is one of the reasons this session is very, very important. And the holidays are not for catching up or trying to finish up what you didn't finish during the break. The holidays are actually time for you to rest. Yeah, they are put in there because you need to rest. You need to refresh yourself. And why do you need to refresh yourself? You need to refresh yourself because of the students that you're going to teach. Not just because of the students now, because of yourself. Because of yourself. Most importantly, because of yourself. So this session is a wake up call, not a lecture. I'm not here to lead you on a guilt trip, but I'm here for us to have honest conversation about what is actually happening to you, why you can't seem to switch off, and for also tell you what to do before the next term comes knocking, before the next session comes knocking, demanding everything that you have left. That is why this session is important. Now, why we are going to talk about why teachers cannot switch off. That is the reality of the session. Everybody, we all know about it. The reality is that most of the holidays is not really a holiday. A holiday that is not a holiday. That is what I call this session. Now, if you ask any teacher what they did over the holidays, as after that, you will hear things like I caught up on marking, I attended the training, I planned the next unit, I started holiday lessons, I reorganized my classroom, I really didn't rest, I had a lot of things to do. I had to go and get this done, I had to visit friends, I had to visit family, I had to go for one function or the other, different stories. And what's the message that those stories are actually pointing is, yeah, I kept busy and didn't rest. You thought you were resting, but you really didn't rest. Now, it's not a coincidence and it's a pattern. And unfortunately, this pattern is actually making many teachers sick, weak. It's making many teachers, uh, tense. Yeah, tense. It's making many teachers feel as if something there's something that should be done that they are not yet catching. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Pattern, and unfortunately this pattern is making many teachers sick. Now, many teachers or teaching itself does not really have an off switch. Yeah, why teachers cannot really switch off. Now, it's very important for you to understand that teachers struggle to rest, and that is not being inconsiderate to themselves or being lazy. It's not that they love working too much. It is just that the nature of the job, the nature of teaching, makes switching off very, it's just the nature of the teaching. And we say this because teaching is relationship heavy, emotionally loaded, never quite finished profession. It is highly demanded. Remember, demanding. Remember, you're dealing with your students, you're dealing with parents, you're dealing with management, you're dealing with other people as your colleagues. You also come home and deal with family members. So unlike most jobs, teachers carry their students home. Most jobs you can leave the job, you can leave the work at the at closing time. But for a teacher carries the students home. They lie awake, catching up on lesson plan, thinking about that student that has not been eating well, or the student that has not been listening, being attentive to the class. They mentally rehearse tomorrow's explanation of a concept. That's the topic you're going to teach tomorrow. You see them thinking about it, and they feel personally responsible for the outcomes that they cannot fully control. But some of them go as much as praying for their students. I know when I was when I was teaching the primary school, I did that. I was praying for every single student every day before before I sleep or before I leave the house. You see that usually why we say that teachers we cannot really switch off. Yeah. And when the term ends, the work stops, of course, or as it should, but the mental and emotional weight does not. because what did we say? Teaching is very, very demanding. And teachers are dealing not just with our students now, but I think dealing with students is even simpler than dealing with most parents. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, than dealing with most parents. Now, what is this actually doing to your brain? This moment of why you can't switch off. What is it doing to your brain? Now, when you spend an entire term in a state of sustained stress and high demand, your nervous system adapts. Yeah, your nervous system will have no choice but to adapt. You wake up as early as 4, 5 a.m. to prepare for school. You early last night because you were catching up on laying is actually imprinting on your nervous system. And as time goes on, your nervous system will adapt, and it will now become a calibrated urgency. It means that all the time you want to move, you want to move, you want to move, you want to move. And now it now ends up interpreting stillness as danger. What I mean is being quiet or being one place. When you're one place, you feel as if something is wrong or something is missing. You quickly want to catch up with what was happening, but nothing is happening. And why is this so? Is because your brain or your nervous system has already adapted to that feel of let's do everything fast. And most times, the first few weeks of the holidays or first few days of the holidays often feel worse than the term itself because, like we said, everything has ended. The job has actually ended. You now finally get to stop. Now, when you now finally stop, remember that the body has already adapted to that urgency, to that sense of urgency. Now, when you are now staying one place, that's when you now start falling sick. You now have come down with cold, headache, complete exhaustion, restlessness, anxiety from nowhere. Some teachers call it holiday sickness. You just fall sick, and you're not falling sick because you are not eating well, but because your body is trying to adapt to that stillness that comes with the holidays, and it's real. And it's real. What does it mean? It means that your body is finally processing what it has been storing all this while. And what has it been storing? It has been storing that stress that you've been trying to overlook. Use that because the body you can't cheat nature, like we say. You can't cheat nature. Nature will come knocking when it's time. Yeah, nature will come knocking. So that's why when you're now quiet and relaxed, uh, you not start falling sick, start having one cold or one sickness or the other. Now, the tragedy is that most teachers they interpret this as the sign to go back to work. They confuse discomfort of transition from a period of being active to a period of rest. They confuse it with discomfort of failure. They feel that I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. What more can I do? What more can I do? Not knowing that their body is signaling them rest. So they feel that rest is wrong, or that rest is a luxury, or that rest is a payment for being busy because your nervous system safety. Now, like we said before, they see safety or they see stillness as a threat. I don't know if you can still hear me.
I'm with you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Now,
Yes, I can
there are
hear
three
you.
things that most teachers, okay, thank you very much. There are three things that most teachers do instead of resting. They do it instead of resting so that they're trying to, overcome that feeling of being ill or being there. So what's that? Really occupied because they feel that doing nothing feels like they are irresponsible, but they're not actually productive. They are just of time. They're organizing things that don't need to be organized. They are organizing things that don't need to be reorganized. Hold on, sorry, please. They are organizing things that don't need to be reorganized. They are attending to tasks that could actually wait. forgetting that motion without momentum is a waste of time, waste of energy. Now, the second thing they do is they plan the next term even before they recovered from the one that just completed. So they feel that planning ahead make them feel virtuous, make them feel dedicated or look dedicated, but it's actually avoidance of stillness, avoidance of their own thoughts, avoidance of reflection, avoidance of feelings that surface when you really, really think. That is actually what they're trying to avoid. So that is not performing or planning the next time before this term actually ends. Is not really helpful for any teacher. Now, what is the third thing they do? The third thing they do is that they say yes to everything that the term would not allow. They say yes to everything. If they feel that every obligation that they deferred because of how busy they were during the session, they will not say, okay, they will not start doing it now. They say yes to everything, every family obligation, every friendship that was as if it was ignored because you were busy, every obligation that was deferred, that you now push it to holidays. I know many teachers that they will have a lot of things to do during the session. They will not say, please, during holidays, we get it done. That's when they will not start doing it. The bank they need to go to, that's when they'll go to that bank. The friend that has been checking on them, maybe that gave birth, that they need to check up on, that is when they do. You see them running up and down. Someone that is on holidays, that is not really resting. In fact, I know right now she's up and about. She's not resting. Every that they couldn't do because push it to the holidays, that they get it done during the holiday. So you see them busier during holidays than they was in session, and they all call it catching up. They call it catching up, but they don't know that this is actually a business that is or depletion that is hidden in a form of business or in a form of, unfortunately. So now we're going to have a reflective activity, very short reflective activity. We all have to be honest with ourselves here. Yeah, it's not a quiz. There's no right or wrong answers. Rather, I need you to look at yourself in a mirror. So what I will need you to do now is to get a book, a writing material, or some writing material, because you're going to do some writing, very short writing. Now I need you to, a very quiet place in your mind, away from noise. Sit in a place that is comfortable, in a comfortable position. That's what I want you to sit on. I'm going to read out some things that I will have us, write down. Yeah. So are we ready? Are we ready
Yes.
for this session? All right, great. Now we're going to start with the first, which is your body. We need to think about how you survive this term with your starting from the body, which is very important. Now, I'll need you to write down when last you slept for at least 8 hours without an alarm waking you. When last did you sleep for 8 hours without an alarm waking you? I don't know if you've written that down. When last did you sleep for 8 hours without an alarm waking you? When last did you eat a full meal without doing something else at the same time? Yeah. When last did you eat a full meal without doing something else at the same time? The next one is, when last did you sit in silence for more than 5 hours? Oh, I mean, for more than 5 minutes without reaching for your phone? Yeah. When last did you sit in silence for more than 5 minutes without reaching for your phone? We done that? Because I'm going to call some people to share what they have. They're comfortable. Now let's move to your mind. Your mind, which is also important, in fact, as important as your body too. Let's go move to your mind now. The first question is, what are 3 things currently occupying the most mental space in your mind right now? What are 3 things currently occupying the most mental space in your mind now? Now, the second thing is, are any of them the things that you can actually do something about right now? Can you actually do anything about it? As in, is this something that you can solve? Find solution to right now, whatever reason. Someone can't control it, but you've seen them thinking about it. So that is it for the mind. What are the 3 things currently running or taking most mental space in your mind now? Can you actually do anything about those things right now? That is the question for the mind. Then for your emotion, which is also important, is the mind. For your emotion, how are you actually feeling? Yeah. How are you actually feeling? Not fine or not tired or anything, but genuinely feeling. How are you feeling? Can you explain your feeling in words? Yeah. Or is it something that you can't explain? If it's something that you can't explain, you write it down there. I can't explain it. If someone that loves you looks at you now, what would that person be worried about? That is the second question under that. The first is, how are you actually feeling? The second is, if someone that loves you, maybe a friend or a family member, your parents, looks at you now, and what would that person be worried about? So that is it for emotion. Now let's move to identity. Now the identity is, who are you when you are not teaching? Yeah. Because you're first a human being before you became a teacher. Who are you when you are not teaching? What do you enjoy doing that has absolutely nothing to do with education? And when last did you do that thing that you enjoyed doing? These are the question for. This is the question for your identity. Who are you when you're not teaching? When did you last do something that you love doing that is outside of your profession as a teacher? Yeah. And when last did you do that thing? That is the question for your identity. I have another last one here on rest. I have some questions also on rest. Now, the first question is, what does rest mean to you? What does rest mean to you? Not holiday work or not catching up, but actual rest. What does rest mean to you? And when last did you rest? Yeah. When last did you actually rest? So I don't know if I needed to sit with this now and write some things down, because we are going to share, like 2 or 3 people will share, and we will see. Let's see what we are working with. So are we ready to share? See the people that are here. Who's ready to share? Who's ready to share?
Okay, let's do this one by one.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Sorry,
Okay.
ma.
Ma, can you hear me? Just a quick one, ma.
Yes, I can hear you. Go on.
Ma, I noticed we cannot use the chat box. Like, I don't know why.
Really?
Yes, or do you disable it, ma, at your end?
I didn't.
Okay, ma.
Maybe because I'm not on Zoom. Zoom.
I just sent
What
something there
now?
and right?
Yeah, so someone just sent something there now. So I didn't disable it. I didn't disable it. It's working. So who wants, Madam Lucy, which part do you want to share? Which of the aspects? The four. We talked on your emotion, on your identity.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Coach.
Hope Madam Lucy
Yes, it's
is
me.
here. Okay. Mr. Tunde.
I'm here.
Okay, she's here.
I am here. I think I want to pass from this one because I everything there is me. I've not rested. I've not even taken holiday because we were supposed to write common entrance on the 25th of July, but that day was environmental. So Lagos State shifted the common entrance to 28th of July. So my proprietor was like, the children must still come to school until the day of exam. So we got to school, we kept going to school till on the 28th. On the 29th, we went, I was assigned some tasks to do. I still went on the 20, on the Friday before on the 1st, all the teachers were at school because our party was on Saturday. We finished our party on Saturday. We started school on Monday. And I was advocating that we should do the lesson from 9 a.m. to 12 o'clock. She said, well, you are not coming on Friday. Why will you do 9 to 12? Do 9 to 1 because you are not coming on Friday. So we started the lesson and I have I think I wanted to leave early on Monday, and she was like, the school is not supposed to be closed. We'll be alternating it, and I have not rested, and I'm going to go through the whole month till. So I guess the only time I'm going to take holiday is the 1 week before school resume. With the one that she has told me, the school is not supposed to be empty. The one admin is supposed to be in school. So that one is out of it. I still wake up my normal 4 3 a.m. every day, and I won't sleep until 6 6:30. I sleep for 2 hours, then I come back to do my online lessons. Then I still eat once a day. I am the tea person. If I take tea, I can move from Lagos to Abuja and I won't feel anything. So I'm still taking my I just ran away from my house to my mommy's place, and she's like, welcome. What will you eat? And I was like, "Oh, I don't really want to eat anything." She was like, you have come. Did you eat? I said, no, I've not eaten. She said, okay, you must eat. And I said, okay. So I'm only going to spend today and tomorrow with my mom, and I'm going back to my place. So I've not eaten what I liked. I've not slept. I've not done anything. So that's why I said I think I would pass, but I've already said everything.
Man, your life is wonderful, and I don't want to anybody. But you still, well, weekends are there for you to rest now, Abby. Maybe you don't rest on weekends too.
My proprietress is of the opinion that my school is primary and secondary school, but I'm not heading the secondary school. But she is of the opinion that since I'm an admin, myself, the principal, and the vice principal, we come on Saturdays to conduct what is it called? Entrance examination for JSS1 and other class. So the only day I have to myself is on Sunday. That's the
Wow.
only day I have to myself. When I was trying to make it look like one person will come this Saturday, the other one will come the other Saturday. The vice principal lost her father and she took a week holiday, only for her to come on Tuesday and say she has finished the holiday, she has done the burial and everything. And as such, we shouldn't cancel everything, the show must go. And proprietors are like, yes, see, you see a dedicated person. So where one person is trying to rest, the other person is bringing sentiment or maybe eye service into the whole system. And it will look like you do not want to work and you do not. So I didn't want to argue because I'm always the one arguing. So I just let it go. The only thing I do is that once I get there, I'll just put my head on the table and I'll rest my head. What is wrong with you? I am tired. And that's how it turned out. When it is time for us to go, I go back home. That's just me.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, thanks for sharing. Who else has something else to share? Let's hear from you, Miss Yutunde. You're in a quiet place.
God, I actually really want to complain about mine, but I can see I have someone more occupied than I am.
So you
Um,
have it easy.
this common entrance that she was talking about soon. I was also present
Mm-hmm,
at the center for the common entrance. A week
mm-hmm,
before, the weekend before was our prize giving session, was our prize
mm-hmm.
giving ceremony. That's
Ceremony, yeah.
exam week. We had to be in school for graduation ceremony too. And we were in school Monday, Tuesday for recording and all that. The weekend for graduation ceremony, and then the following week we resumed for summer coaching Monday
Hmm.
to Thursday too. So it was only yesterday and today that I've been home. In fact, today I did not touch anything aside cooking. I made sure I've just been resting because
Mm-hmm.
by Monday now I'll still go back, and it's nine
Well,
to one.
9 to
So
1.
yes, and I did leave school around past 2 because I was pray Zul at school before leaving.
Yeah. And
Yes,
you cannot not say you're not doing the summer coaching.
it is optional actually, but
For the teacher.
the condition there is that if you are not attending the summer coaching, there is no salary for this month. That's how it is.
So that's how they force everybody to
Exactly.
be
No,
around.
even
Because
aside the sorry, even aside the salary, my provider said I cannot let you go. So it's either I resign or I continue.
really, ours is actually flexible because I have some of my colleagues that choose to stay home this
Uh,
summer.
yeah, and rest.
Yes,
Hmm.
it is of us
Interesting.
that need the money that are in school. And some are actually like, since it is 9 to 1, it at least it is better than the normal school period that you be at school since morning till 4. So
Mm.
it is a bit flexible for some.
Still, but you're still preparing. You're preparing lessons.
Yes,
That's the point. You're waking early. You're still waking early to leave.
I
So
am.
don't really have that space to really rest. Yeah. You don't have that space. Friday, Saturday, Sunday rest is not enough. It's not enough now. Yeah, it's not enough. You need like 1 week still. When I was teaching, I know after the holidays and all the party and everything, we normally have 1 week off before we start talking about summer whatever. And it's 9 to 12. The same Monday to Thursday, 9 to 12. But we normally have that 1 week to rest. But like now, schools don't want to lose their students. So they use that summer coaching to ease parents off. Let parents rest. I don't know what the parents are resting from. Let parents rest and let the teachers keep doing the work. Thanks for sharing. Let's hear from Ms. Damilola. Hope she's still here. She here?
Yes, ma. I'm here, ma.
All
Can
right.
you hear me, ma?
Let's hear. Yeah, I can.
Yes, ma. Okay. Good evening, everyone. For
Good
me,
evening.
rest. Like, I don't know what to say, but truly, I know rest is very important. So I will just go through because as you were telling us to reflect, I was going through what you said. So I'll just go through one at a time. So according
Okay.
to my own body, I would say the last time I actually sleep 8 hours without an alarm, I would say last week. Because
Okay.
this let's just say this week I've been in one project or the other, so it has been taking a lot of my time. Even at night too, I used to have some meetings, which I noticed that is telling on my health because I'm a bit under the weather. So
Okay.
when did you last eat a full meal without doing something else at the same time? God should just help me. Because sometimes when I'm having meeting, I'm taking my breakfast or I'm
Mm,
taking my lunch. So I've been guilty of that. So for the
mm,
my own mind, what's the three things I'm currently taking up the most mental space in my head? What is currently taking up the mental space in my head is that thinking about growth. Okay, what's the next thing? What am I going to do? Okay,
mm-hmm.
what is the next thing? Like being occupied about a lot of thoughts, trying to do one thing at a time. And I notice the more I try to think about doing one more than one thing at a time, the more I notice that it's become to pile up and I won't be able to do anything. I won't be able to do anything specific. So
To
it's taking
finish.
up my mental space. So I won't be able to think straight that I want to really do one thing at a particular time. And can you actually do anything about that right now? I think what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take a step at a time. Like, I'm going to take a step at a time because I noticed that it's really getting to me and it's making my mental my mental state to be not to be stable. So I think I have to take a step at a time. That's for my mind. But for my emotions, how can you actually how are you feeling right now? Right now, I'm feeling tired. That's just it. I'm feeling tired, very tired right now. Because this afternoon, when me and my dad was like, we met ourselves in the parlor, he was like, this lady, so you are in this house. He was very surprised because he has not been seeing me around today. He was thinking maybe I left for something. But he was like, why are you looking tired like this? I thought you said you are on holiday. So I was just smiling. So he was telling me that I should just take time and rest, that everything is not work. That's for the
Abi.
emotion part, which I'll work on it. For my identity, who are you when you are not teaching? I actually love it when I just want to celebrate someone. I don't know. I don't know which type of profession is that one, no, but I think the more I celebrate people, the more I gain my strength. I feel that's what I like. I don't know. I'm still trying to look at the profession that one will fit in. So I think that's all.
All right. Great. Your dad and I, we are in the same spirit. Telling you that is what we are here for. Okay. Great. Who else wants to share? I think I saw Mr. EY. Let's hear from a man if he's still here. Is he still here? Okay. Like he's
Good
having
evening,
network.
ma'am. Good
All
evening,
right.
ma'am.
Good evening.
Yes, my day has been hectic, has been so busy. I'm so busy. No holiday palaver. Been up
What are
and
you
down
doing?
since this of the week. Doing
Someone
so
is on
many,
a
doing different kind of engagements. Going to school from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. doing online class and all those kind of stuff. So I don't have holiday. I'm even tired now. I just finished the training just now. I have to attend this one too. So I'm mentally tired right now. Mentally tired. I've not been able to sleep actually. The sleep still dim my eyes very well. I'm mentally tired.
I'm battling NEPA.
There's no an holiday break at all. This is not an holiday. It's just another work stress. Because this summer lesson of 18,
From
the
school.
reason why I just have to do it is just that I don't want to work for another person. Then at the end of the new term, new section, now start working afresh again, building all those students. No, 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 no. So it's better I did it my own. Groom them from the beginning, then work up with them. So it's going to be easier
No, I
than
can't hear
just
you again. Is it my network?
starting the work afresh again, doing the new section.
Yeah,
My day has been so hectic.
understand what the current
Hello, ma. Network.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
Okay.
So is that
I can hear you, ma.
the current or the common? What is common now? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you, ma.
Can we hear me?
Yes, ma.
Okay. So I was saying that it's as if even the current culture has even made it more almost impossible or somehow for teachers to really have that period of rest. Because like we said, schools just vacated, it's not last week, and holiday lessons started immediately. And well, I'm not here to throw stones at anybody, but we all know what makes
I will just
this
say
what
that
it
the
is.
only time a teacher
Many
can rest,
factors are involved.
the only time teacher can rest is during maybe federal government holiday. That's during it or festive period. There is only
How many
time
is
a
the
teacher can rest.
holiday now? 2 days.
So it's only that period a teacher can
How
rest.
many days?
All those holiday is zero.
Federal government holiday and first and second term holidays
Yes.
because there is no summer.
Yes, there's also balance in them. Yes.
Just did now is the real data. You've already the real data you all mentioned now. This what you said now is the real data of a professional life. It's not lesson. Usually, we didn't say anything about lesson planning here or lesson teaching here. No. Well, what we talked about now is how you act. You know that you can pour into a student or into your students when you can't pour into your colleagues when you are empty. When you are empty. Yeah. When you are running on when you are trying to grab on straw. Now, for a teacher to say that they are tired is very heavy. And I know what she means that she's tired. It's not just physical tiredness now. I know that mental tiredness is there. Emotional tiredness is also there. Tiredness of the mind is also there. Tiredness of the body is also there because they've not really had time to really rest and be refreshed. Yeah. We are always on the go. We're always on the go. So Thank you for admitting what you just did. Now let's move into the next session. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Now, what does this depletion, that because that's what you mentioned now, what does this depletion cost you? What does it cost you? What does it cost every aspect of you, both as a teacher, as a person, as somebody that has family members and loved ones? Yeah. So that's what this section will now be talking about. So there's a deeply embedded belief in teaching culture that says that the good ones push through, dedicated ones sacrifice, the best teachers work hardest and now it's so unfortunate that this belief now is, but it's actually killing. Like AY said now that he's tired of working for somebody. Miss Damilola said that she too, she's tired. In fact, her father had to speak. Why are you looking tired? Someone that is on holidays. So that is actually what this means. The myth that is the good ones push through, the dedicated ones sacrifice last is actually a lie. It's not true. Anybody that is telling you this does not want your progress. In teachers does not just affect teacher. It does not just affect the teacher. It travels. It reaches your classroom, every classroom. It reaches every relationship. It reaches every interaction that you're having with with your colleagues, with the school, every part of your life. Just like we are saying now, that we are tired. And a depleted teacher cannot hide their depletion. Now, how does it come? It comes out in different ways. Ways like lack of patience, you don't have patience again, or your creativity is reduced, you have lower expectations, you have emotional withdrawal, you have, or what's it now? You become so tired mentally. There's this quiet despair of going through the motion, trying to just do things. This is when learned helplessness also come in. If you missed that session on learn helplessness, go to the YouTube channel. You're going to find it there. Very, very, every teacher is supposed to watch. Chronic depression, depletion, it can even lead to depression if care is not taken. It can lead to burnout. And I don't want any teacher has any form of burnout. Now, what does this depletion do to your teaching? What does it do to your teaching? The first thing that it kills creativity. It kills creativity because you're tired mentally, you're tired physically, you're tired emotionally. Your eyes are swollen, your eyes are red, you end up using glasses or, trying to just survive. Now, that's the best teaching moments, those unexpected analogies that you use to teach your students, those 5 words that rescued a failing lesson. Maybe you're trying to teach something and the students are not getting it. Maybe you just switch to another method of teaching. All those questions that change the students' thinking, they all come from a mind that has space to move. They come from the mind that has space to move. And a depleted mind cannot improvise. It can only survive. A depleted mind will just be working on autopilot. Like last week, although I was ill, or I am ill, still ill. But last week was so bad that I was forgetting things, that I would do things and forget I did them. That was how bad last week was. And I told someone that I'm running on autopilot. Do you know the warning she gave me? That was the text she sent. Rest to. Immediately she sent that rest to. I put off my data and laid down. You see? Now it affected my productivity. You people that are is affecting my productivity because I was forgetting things. And once I start forgetting things, once I start feeling a certain kind of way, whatever it is I'm doing, I stop it and lie down. I stop it and lie down because I know my kind of person. Now, what else does depletion do to your teaching? It lowers your threshold. It lowers your threshold. So small things become large things. Things that you would, usually overlook, A student who you could manage before becomes a student that you cannot stand again. A colleague's comment that would normally slide now becomes a source of resentment. You're not overreacting, you're actually under resourced, you're actually under a lot of pressure, and you're trying to find a way to, to contain yourself so that you don't blow out and flare out up. Because if you flare up, it's not going to help anybody. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help your students. It's not going to help anybody that is coming into your, into your space. What else does depletion cost you as a teacher? It shrinks your vision. It shrinks your vision. So on a normal day at full capacity, you see the student who is struggling, and you think of three things that you could try so that the students will get better. Now that you're depleted, you think of what you're thinking, and when you now see that student that is struggling, what you're thinking of now is, please, how many weeks do we have before the term ends so that I will go and rest and have nothing to do with this student again. But before, you used to think of students and say, what am I going to try to make the students better? Yeah. But because you're already depleted, you're already feeling, when are we going to be done with this term? Let me go and rest. Now, depletion does not just drain your energy, it drains your imagination. And that is not, a teacher cannot have their imagination missing, because that's the only one of the ways you can teaching from your imagination. What else does depletion cost you as a teacher? It disconnects you from purpose, from your purpose of entering into the profession. Most teachers, okay, I mean, let's say that some entered because they didn't have their choice, but many stayed because they felt that they are ready to make a difference, or they feel that they can make a difference. But depletion, it does not erase that desire. Rather, it buries it under so many layers of survival, so many layers of survival mode, that you end up forgetting why you even started teaching. And that forgetting is the real tragedy, because you end up acting out or doing things under autopilot. And working on the autopilot, a teacher should be spontaneous. The teacher has to be spontaneous, because anything can happen. You can come to the class and meet a different thing that you did not expect when you were coming. So depletion, it kills your creativity, it lowers your threshold, it shrinks your vision, and it disconnects you from purpose. That is costing you as a teacher. As a teacher. What else does depletion do to you as a person now? So beyond the classroom, like I said you were first a human being before you became a teacher. Now, beyond the classroom, depletion costs you your relationship, costs you your health, like someone that is complaining of headache now, constant headache, eye pain, and all that, cost you your health, and also cost you your sense of self. That was why we brought in identity in the first in our reflection session. So the partner that, or for those of us that are married or that are in a relationship, the partner now gets, your partner, whether your wife or your husband, now gets leftover version of you, because you're already tired. You've given a bulk portion of you to your students, to your school, but you now come home bringing back the leftover version. Your students now, your children now see you always tired. Mommy is always tired. Daddy is always tired. Now, those relationships, those friendships that's quietly fade because you never have the energy to show. When they call on you on weekend, Saturdays, hello, how far? Say, I'm tired. I'm not feeling fine. Because you always don't show up. Now, your body keeps sending signals that you keep ignoring. Those recurring headaches, those weight changes, some gain weight, some lose weight, those sleeps that you sleep and you never feel refreshed. Yeah, yeah. I know that many of us have felt it. I feel it. Those sleep that you sleep and you never feel refreshed. And underneath all that, there's this creeping sense that something is wrong, but you cannot name it because you're too tired to investigate. You're too tired to check what is wrong. You're too tired to, you know, find out what is wrong and know what to do about it. Now, that is what depression costs you as a person, not just a tired person. Now, your life you live your life in half capacity because you're too tired to bring out your best. Remember, we said that the body is already weak, and once the body is weak, the body will find a place to find strength trend. And if it does not find it, you see many of us start gaining weight. Some start losing weight, start losing it drastically. They'll see and say, what is wrong with you? Hope you're all right. You know that you're not all right, but you can't really name, what you're really passing through. You've forgotten that you are strained. You've forgotten that you are stressed. Now we're going to call out now these 4 villains that are keeping you busy, even during the holidays. We are going to call them by name now, and we are going to attack them. Now, understanding why you cannot rest is not about self-blame. It's about naming the forces that are working against you so that you can work against them deliberately. We are going to call them by names and we're going to face them deliberately. Now, the first villain here is guilt. Guilt. Most teachers, they feel guilty and they cannot rest. That's when you start hearing them saying something like, I should be doing something productive. I don't know the definition of productive. I don't know who gave them that definition. Some say that other teachers are cared about me. If I really cared about my students, I will use this time to get ahead. They put themselves in a particular competition that only them it is a feeling, it is not a fact. It's not that that feeling that you should be working does not mean that you should actually be working. No. It means that you should, look at yourself again and reflect and know what is causing this feeling. Is it from a place of guilt or from a place of understanding that I've actually not done what I supposed to do. I'm not saying that you should leave your work undone and say that you don't want to feel guilty. No, get your work done, do as much as you can. Now, when guilt now comes, you know that it's coming from a place of guilt. So guilt is a very poor planner and even a worse advisor. Yeah, a worse well-being advisor. So resting now, I'm here to tell you now that resting is not about abandoning your students. No, it's about preparing the version of yourself that will show up for them. Preparing the version of yourself that will show up for those students that you're actually uh, that's actually entrusted to you to take care of. Now, the second villain here is culture. Culture. So that glorifies busyness. The teacher who sleeps over the holidays, they call the person lazy. The teacher who plans 3 units ahead is now seen as dedicated. Now, being seen as productive is now being epithed as being a good teacher. But there is no comparison there. This culture is wrong and it is very, very dangerous. The school environment or the education environment glorifies business and equates exhaustion to dedication. No, they are not the same. No profession works that way. Doctors, nurses, counselors are required to rest precisely, giving much of themselves. There's this doctor I know that took a lot of shifts. Took a lot of shifts. Now that doctor is down with stroke. Young man in his 30s is down with stroke because he did not take that rest that he was given. Also, teaching is also not different. The culture has just not caught up with that truth that doctors rest, we too, we can rest. And you're allowed to opt up of that culture because it's actually slowly destroying, actually spoiling things that should be protected. And what is that thing that should be protected? Showing up for your students. So forget about that culture and you know do what you know works for you. Now the third villain is fear. Fear. Fear is quieter than guilt and it's harder to name because it will just be the lingering kind. Now, fear sounds like if I stop, I won't be able to start again. If I slow down, everything will fall apart. For meeting every day, she feels that if she slows down, everything will fall apart. That if she's not visible and productive, people will think she's not serious. She's not showing up. Being there, putting herself there. People will think that you're not serious with your life. There's this thinking that say that if I rest now, I will have too much to do when I return. That all the things I will do will pile up. Now, none of these fears, when we examine them honestly, actually hold water. No, but fear does not operate in an examined zone. It operates in the background. It keeps you moving so that you never have to face what will happen. You stop, unfortunately. And there was a time I was living in this fear, especially the fear of see others are doing this and you're just here whiling away time. Yeah, I know my own was coming from a place of yeah, I know I could do more, but I had this fear that if I go out there, what will people say? So the fear was coming in both sides. It was coming on if I go out there, what will people say? See what others are doing. This person that is doing this thing, are you not better than the person? You know, that kind of. So I mixed the fears together and now use it to start doing the things that I'm doing now. But I'm not comparing myself with somebody else because I've come to that understanding that we are all on different plane. Now, still on fear, still on fear. What will happen if you actually try to rest? If you ignore that fear and stopped, if you ignore that fear and rest, what will happen is that you will rest. You actually rest, you will recover, and you will return with more capacity than you left with. Yeah, that is the point. That is the point of actually resting. You're going to recover, you'll be refreshed, and you return with capacity, more capacity than you left that your classroom with. Now, the fourth billion that we're looking at now is identity. Identity, identity. Very, very important. This is the deepest one. I think I'll have to do a session. Yeah, I have to do a session on teacher identity. Let me write it down. Please, Ms. Damila, remind me.
Okay, ma. Okay, ma.
Teacher identity. I have to do a session on this, maybe in September or maybe in November. So, identity. This is the deepest one. Yeah, many teachers don't know who they are when they're not teaching. All their life revolves around teaching. They don't know who they are when they're not teaching. Their sense of worth is entirely tied to their role, to their productivity, to their usefulness in the class. When the term ends, when a session ends, that role pauses. Yeah, that role pauses. And that this discomfort, this quiet discomfort now sets in because they don't have an understanding of who they are beyond the classroom. Yeah. They they get to answer, who am I if I'm not planning, marking, teaching, solving, doing something or preparing? Many teachers can't answer that question. Yeah, unfortunately, because everything around them revolves around their classroom. So this holiday, but the holiday is not just rest for work. For many teachers, it's accidental confrontation with themselves, accidental confrontation with their existence, accidental confrontation with who they are. And that can be deeply uncomfortable. Yeah, it can be deeply uncomfortable, but it is very, very important. Very, very important. So, in the bid to avoid that question, you see them being busy. You see them being busy. So, you can't ignore that discomfort. You sit with it long enough to discover who you are more than your role, who you are more than your classroom, that you're a whole person first before you are a teacher. And that whole person actually deserves a holiday, actually deserves a rest. Now, what does rest really look like? Okay. What does rest really look like? I'll make these slides available so that we'll go through it. What does rest look like? Now, uh, rest is not laziness, it is strategy. Yes, it's strategy. Strategy for you to be productive. Just know that, be it at the point of your mind, at the back of your mind, rest is not absence of productivity. It's a different kind of productivity, the one that operates below the surface, because it's restoring what sustained effort has depleted. It's restoring what was depleted because we are busy. Rest has to be real. There's a difference between rest that restores and the rest that is just delayed guilt. Yeah. There's this kind of sleep that you sleep, you wake up refreshed. You know that I really slept. So you wake up, you feel as if you ran a marathon or you went to war. That is not rest. When the sleep is not restful. So we have four kinds of rest. that every teacher needs. 4 kinds of rest that every teacher needs. The first one is physical rest. Physical rest. That is actual sleep, like laying on the bed and sleeping, closing your eyes, dropping your phone and sleeping. Not reduce sleep, not 5 hours and wait for Saturday for you. Talking of the sleep that is not interrupted by phone notification, the sleep that is consistent, the sleep that you do not plan because it's your body that will decide when to wake up. I don't know. Have you ever slept that kind of sleep? Are we still here? Are we still
Yes,
here?
ma. Yes, ma. I can actually relate.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, great, great. You know that kind of sleep that you wake up to be as if you're in the next day. Yes, that's the kind of sleep you need these holidays. You don't plan it because one thing I'm saying with sleep is with me anyway. Once I plan it, I say, I'm going to sleep this weekend. That weekend, I'm not going to catch a break of sleep. So I don't say it out. I just allow my body to lead me through the weekend. Now, the second kind of rest that the teacher needs is the mental rest. Mental rest. This one comes in form of silence, space between thoughts, activities that don't require planning, that don't require problem solving, or that don't require assessment. You take a walk without listening to anything. You just listen to nature. For those of us that live in a scenic environment, you sit without a screen. You just look into the space. Yeah, look into the space and just think about irrelevant thoughts, conversations that are not about work. You stay with your family members. You just your brain is actually resting. Now you allow your thinking mind to actually go quiet. You can now rest so that you'll be refreshed. And if you're refreshed, you can be able to speak. So the goal of mental rest is to let your thinking mind go quiet enough so that the rest of you can now speak. There is this kind of conversation that you don't really have to think so much about. Just laugh with family members, you gist, you chat, you crack jokes, rejuvenated. Now, the third kind of rest that every teacher needs is emotional rest. Emotional rest. The permission to feel without trying to fix it. Time with people who replenish you, yeah, rather than drain you. Because there are some people you be with, you go there full, you're leaving their presence empty. No, just avoid them this period. Space to process the emotional residue of the term. That difficult parent that you had a conversation with, that student that you could not teach, that moment that you lost, this is the time you get to think about it. This time you get to process it. And emotions that are not processed now becomes the background noise of burnout. Emotional rest is giving them somewhere to go. Emotional rest is helping you process the way you felt or the way you feel. If you can cry, you cry. If you can scream, you scream. If you can, whatever it is, to ease off that emotion, you do it so that your emotion is free. Now, the fourth kind of rest every teacher should have is identity rest. Identity rest. This is time spent being someone else other than a teacher. This is where you now go deep into your hobbies, your friendship outside of education, your faith and spiritual practice. If you can, you travel, remove your footwears, soak up the sun, you know, have a connection with the earth, walk barefooted, enjoy your meal, eat and enjoy your meal, have conversations that have nothing to do with lesson planning or anything that has to do with curriculum or anything educational. You can just those group chats, you keep them somewhere and face your own self. Remember, like we said, you were a whole teacher, a whole person before you became a teacher. Now, rest you gives the you freedom for you to breathe. Yeah, freedom for you to breathe. Now, what does this actually look like? What does this kind of rest actually look like? Now, for me, what I do when I want to rest, it can be maybe a day. When I want to rest, yeah, is my phone goes on DND. Like I don't waste time putting my phone on DND and silence, because I have to be uh browsing online if I want. If I don't want to browse online, my phone goes on flight mode. Then I get to will not have much work to do. Most times I travel to my parents' house. Every that thing is off. Then I now sleep deep sleep. You know, this kind of thing that you sleep, your eyes will be heavy. I mean, your eyes will be swollen. You wake up, eat, go back to bed. That's the kind of sleep I sleep. You wake when the body is ready. I eat properly, well, just with people that I love, talk about nothing important, just random talks. Then what do I do again? I sleep again. You see, no productivity, no catching up with anything. No, I'm resting. But it's so unfortunate that I don't have that time again. Don't have that time again. I'm still trying to create that opportunity. I know one of these days I'm going to do that. Anybody that calls me will not find me because I'll be resting. So this is how I do it. Yeah, how I do it. So it's not laziness, it is maintenance. I used to feel bad that I'm not up and about, going about, until I got to understand that you have to rest. So rest is when you're refreshed and rested. That is when you can actually productive as you want to. So, like we said, it's not laziness, it's maintenance. Yeah, the most expensive machine in your classroom is you, the teacher. Every other resource gets serviced, so you too needs to be serviced. And how can you do that? You do that by resting, you do that by refreshing. So, real rest feels eventually like relief, it feels like exhaling, feels like permission to be alive. That is what rest feels like. So if you like, you can copy this my method and try it one day, then you come and tell me how it went. I will be happy to read your story. Yeah, this is the kind of story I like to hear. So now, what's the difference between rest and avoidance? Because most times people try to use avoidance to equate rest. They are not the same. So one important distinction is that rest is restorative. Rest is restorative, it's deliberate, it is guilt free. But avoidance, which is also stillness, but is accompanied with guilt that there's something that you need to do you've not done. So you're not really relaxing, but rather you are procrastination and not feeling terrible about procrastination. Rest feels like relief. Yeah, it feels like that permission to exhale. It feels like your body now gets loose, your body loosens, your mind slows down, you're present where you are. Yeah, you're present where you are. It is unconditional, full, unconditional permission to check very well. It might be avoidance that is dressing up as rest. Yeah, dressing up at rest. Avoidance, we said that avoidance, you're not relaxing, you're procrastinating, you're feeling terrible about it. Yes, guilt still runs underneath. Now, how do you take care of this? Now, taking care of it is not for you to start working, it's for you to give yourself real permission to stop. Not just stop and think about what is it that you are missing, that you need to you need to do, then you get it done. Get it done so that that guilt will be a thing of the past and we will really rest. Are we following? Okay, I think you are following. You guys trying to follow. So now you're going to have an activity now. We're going to do now. Now I want you to write down. Yeah, I need to write down too. The first thing is, what are you giving yourself permission to stop carrying this holiday? What are you giving yourself permission to start carrying this holiday? What have you neglected that deserves your attention now? So pick it up. The next thing is, when will your phone go on DMD mode and for how long? When will your phone go on DND mode and for how long? I don't know if someone is trying to speak. Is someone trying to speak? When will your phone go on DND mode and how long? Sorry. All right. Now, what's one thing are you going to do purely because it restores you, not because it is useful to anyone else, something that is useful to you? Now, the next one is, when you return next time, what is the one thing you want to be different? So, we are going to, for us to be able to be as truthful as possible, yeah, of us to really think, you're going to do this and submit it on maybe latest Tuesday. These questions, like I said, I'm going to provide this slide. So maybe you take a screenshot of this page now so that you work on it. So I'm expecting the solutions to this design activity now by Tuesday. You send it to me. Yeah, you send it to me, and I'll now look at it too, and also, go through it and give pointers where we need to. Do we understand? Do we understand? Hope I'm
Yes,
not
ma'am.
alone. All right, all right. So I'm also going to send what I called personal well-being reset plan that we're also going to use to also, work on our well-being. I'm going to send you, Ms. Damilola, please remind me to. I don't know if she's still here. Ms. Damilola, please remind me so that I will send this reset plan for us. So we're going to also submit it. It's the same thing anyway. We're going to submit it on Tuesday. So it's actually the research plan is actually this. Yeah, it's actually this. So I'm going to make it more comprehensive so that we'll see what we're working with. So remind me please to provide that document this night so that we'll work on it. Ms. Damilala, is she here?
No, she's not.
Oh, she has gone. Okay. Who is speaking now? Is it Joytunde?
Yes.
Okay. Please remind me. I'm not on Zoom, so I'm not seeing anybody. Please remind me to work on the reset plan, please. This night. I'll send it this night on that group so that we will now fill it and submit it to me on latest Tuesday. Latest Tuesday. So
All
we're
right.
almost done. Yeah. So we have some reflection questions here that you need to think about. You need to think about. You also add these reflection questions to the reset plan. Yeah. So I'll add everything there too. Because this session is very, very important to me because I need you rested and ready for the next session that you're going into, because you're inheriting a new set of students that you don't know anything about. So you actually need to be rested. Now, the first question is, what was the hardest thing to admit during today's session? What does that tell you? The second is, which of the four villains has the strongest hold on you? What is one thing that you will do about it this holiday? The next question is, what would it look like to return to next term genuinely rested? And what would that version of you be able to give your students that the current version cannot give? So I'm going to add this all into the reflection, to the reset plan. Now, the conclusion of everything that we're trying to say now is that rest is not the opposite of good teaching. You chose teaching because you wanted to make a difference. Now, that instinct is actually good, wonderful, and it's actually right. Now, you can't make a difference from an empty space. You can't pour, you can't pour from an empty cup. That we always say. The most revolutionary thing you can do for yourself, for your students, is not to start planning an extra lesson or marking one more paper or attending one more training. Rather, is to rest completely and so deliberately that you return to them refreshed. Return to them refreshed. Return to your students refreshed. Return to your students full. Return to your students more energized. You return to your students present, like in the present. Like I said before, rest is not the opposite of good teaching. It is the foundation of good teaching. Yeah, it's the foundation of good teaching. Your holiday, know that your holidays are started. The holiday starts now, not when your to-do list is empty, not when your guilt clears, not when you feel like you've earned it. It starts now. So what do I want you to do? I want you to put that phone down, map out Friday, Saturday, Sunday for rest. Say that Friday, from once I come back Thursday evening, my phone goes on DND. I know that no carrying of laptop, no answering any work call or any phone. I'm just going to sleep. You tell the people that you love that they should help you. Tell them that you are back, that they should help you and time yourself. You sleep, you eat, you laugh, you walk barefooted, step on sand. If you can, you travel. If you cannot travel, you sit in the quiet. Just enter one room and sit down there. Not on your phone, no, not pressing phone. Because going to social media also does something to our brain. It makes you feel so tense because colors are flashing, cameras are moving, lights are moving. So we don't need that. We need you to rest. Because we need you to come back to that classroom having uh rested, full, yeah, refreshed with new ideas. With new ideas. So your students need that version of you that is far more, that will give them more attention. They need that version of you that is in the present. They need that version of you that is with them, not just the one that you've planned during the holiday. Okay, you're going to teach this topic this way. No, the students need you complete. They need you whole. Yeah, they need you whole. They need to come back, with feeling that okay, our teacher is refreshed and back. That is what your students need from you. In fact, that is the essence of this session. That is the core takeaway of this session. So I think I've been able to convince you and not confuse you that you are allowed to rest. Even as a teacher, you are allowed to rest. So my name is Praise God. For those of you that don't know my name, I'm the founder of the Educators Hub. This crash course is brought to you by the Educators Hub, and then you can join us. So thank you for coming. Now go and be a person. Few announcements before we leave. Our what's it called? Our conference is coming up September 26th. Registrations are already ongoing. The Beyond the Curriculum is now self-paced. Everybody can do it. You can do it anytime, comfort of your house. Nobody is running after you. You have 35 topics. You have 35 topics and different tasks for you to perform. I think that's basically the most important thing. So, if you're not part of us, part of the community, do well to join us. And those of us that are there, I know that we have one or two things to say. I know that you've been things have been happening to you. For those of us that are on the so okay, there's no more, no problem. She's back. Any question? Thank you. Any question from anybody? You can unmute yourself and ask. Welcome. Any question? Okay. Miss Lucy, if you're trying to speak, we can't hear you. Oh, I can't hear you.
No, I wasn't trying to speak.
Okay. So I don't think we all have questions. So I'm going to provide the research plan, like I said, with the reflection this thing. You're very welcome. That is the essence of this. To live here, have that permission to rest. If anybody say who gave you permission, tell them it's me, and send my phone number. That permission to rest. Please try and rest, Miss Madam Lucy. Please try and rest. Don't joke with your weekends, please. Don't joke with your weekends. Any time consuming task, you know how to channel it. Yeah, how to channel it elsewhere so that you really have time to rest, please. Because we need you whole. We need you whole and we need you complete. Another is it marathon now or sprint? Because
All
next, like
right,
we said,
ma.
next
Thank
time
you,
or
ma.
next session, you're welcome. Next session, you're inheriting new students that you don't know much about. So we need you to be well rested to have them. I just pray you don't have someone like Covenant in your class. Don't worry, another day I'll tell the story of Covenant. If you've not heard the story, I'll tell one of a kind. So since we don't have question, we've come to the end of our session today. The recording will be available whenever it's ready, and it will be on our YouTube channel, The Teacher's Compass. That is the YouTube channel. That's the channel name, The Teacher's Compass. If you've not subscribed to that channel, do it to subscribe, because that's where we drop our crash course videos. They are too heavy to be shared, so that's where we drop our crash course video. You join us there, and see you in the room.